Hi, welcome to my craft room. This is session 2 for the beginner stamper, and we're looking at rubber stamps. They come in so many sizes, and now the decision is wood blocks or clear mount. I'm going to tell you just a couple of pros and cons of the two and let you make that decision. First of all, the wood mount. The real plus is it's fast. It's always there. It's always ready to be used. The con is it does take up more space and it's a little bit more expensive. The clear mount comes in this nice thin case here. There's a thumbnail of the images on the side. Doesn't take up very much space and it is cheaper. The con is you will need to purchase acrylic blocks. You can buy them individually or Stampin' Up! Sells them in a bundle, and that cost is like 10% cheaper than when you buy them singly. Let's talk about the quality of the rubber. It's identical. It's the same. Let me just show you here. And the foam is the same thickness. You're getting the same quality. It's quality for quality. It's really a personal preference. Now let's talk about cleaning the clear mounts. With cleaning those, it's best to avoid using Stays-On cleaner, for it leaves just a little bit of an oily residue which may affect it clinging to the block. And speaking of the blocks, we want to keep those nice and clean. You can use the Stamper Mist. There are two types of images. The outline image consists of line drawings that you color in. So this would all be colored in. Your ink would just give you that outline. And secondly is the solid image. And this is either complete rubber or it has some detailing to it. And that's what this particular image is. And this is from the Fresh Vintage. And we're going to make a card with it. Would you like to do that? Have you started that wish list? The paper cutter needs to be at the top of that list. And I recommended to you last week to purchase that Getting Started collection of cardstock. In that one for $6.95 you were getting 24 sheets. The Whisper White is one of those colors. I have taken just a scrap of paper here that is just trash, basically. Takes any old scrap piece of paper. I've cut a strip that is 3/4 inch. And what we're going to do is we're going to adhere that onto this Whisper White, the half a sheet. Another item to put on your list is the dado, and you may think, oh my gosh, that's $12.95, and that seems a little expensive for a beginner stamper. No, you will use this all the time and you will be so thankful you have it. You notice I just added a tiny bit to the side. I'd also done the same to the bottom. And now we're going to sponge. We are going to be working with our markers. I'm going to show you different ways to use the markers versus the ink pads to help you get the most bang for your buck. With the Brights collection, this rich raspberry comes in there, and that many of those colors are in that Getting Started collection of cardstock. Take a wedge of sponge. When you purchase the sponges, you're going to get 3 sponges. You can take your marker and you can just color right onto there. You notice I'm not using the point, I'm using the side of my marker. With those sponges, I want to explain that to you. With the sponges, you're going to get 3 large round sponges. You'll cut those in half and then cut each half into thirds. And this is 1/6 of a sponge. First of all, you want to color off lightly. I'm not pressing down hard. Color off lightly onto a scrap of paper. And can you see where I've got my scraps of paper here? Now I'm lightly making circles, light, light, light. I'm working my way up. I'm coming back down into this V, and I'm working over. I want the intensity of the color to be at this V. Now remember, all this is my marker on a sponge. I've not used an ink pad. I want this to look like it fades off onto here. Okay, Can you see that okay? Next, we are going to take that same marker, and now we are, remember, this is a solid image. We're going to just color it. And once we color it in, then we're going to huff. And the moisture in our breath will, let me bring this over so you can see it. The moisture in our breath will wetten this ink slightly. So if any parts of it have begun to dry, it will refresh it. Okay, color it really well. Make sure you got all your edges. Always put your cap, it snaps back on. Make sure you always put that back on. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to stamp off into my 2 pieces of scrap paper. I'm not pressing hard. I'm pressing down and letting up. Now you can see my image. Now I'm going to move it up and I'm going to move it over. So I'm going at an angle. I'm moving it up and over. Now I'm pressing more intensely. Can you see? I'm putting more pressure. Voila, now we have a shadow. Now I'm going to huff on this stamp again, and then that will give me another shadow in here. So I can get 3 stamps out of this one marking. And this time I'm bringing it down. And this time I'm really pressing, because there's very little ink left on this stamp. But I want you to see, I was able to get that. Can you see it? It's on this more on the scrap of paper than it is on here, but it gave me that nice shadowed effect that I'm looking for. And that's all done with a marker. Now, voila, let's remove our mask. And look what we have. Now I have taken one of the stamp sets. This is Friends, and this is from this, I love this set, Fabulous Phrases, and there's 30 stamps in here. And I know when you look at this and you see $39.95, you think, wow, that is expensive. It really isn't. It's $1.27 a stamp, and these are high quality stamps. And Stampin' Up! Stands behind their stamp sets. There's a lifetime guarantee on their products. You can't beat it. We're going to use that same marker again, and we're going to color this in. Since you're new stampers, what I recommend is the first time you use this to get familiar with how much pressure to put onto that stamp, stamp onto a scrap of paper before you ever stamp on your cardstock. When I'm teaching a class, this is one thing that I'm really insistent on, because I want people to get a feel. Some people press hard, some people press light, and you need to really get a feel for how that stamp is stamping. But since I've already stamped this before, I'm pretty familiar with it. So now, right in here, I am going to stamp Friend. Voila. And there I have a very simple card that used just very minimum supplies. And with this set, when you're making a purchase of $50, you will get this set free, and there's several different elements in there. I want you to see all the different things you get in that. But write on your list if you're looking for suggestions from me, and that's the Fabulous Phrases. This is awesome. I use this set all the time, and just think about it, just $1.27 a stamp. That's a real deal. Hope you've enjoyed this session. I've really enjoyed bringing it to you. If you liked it, click on the like below, so that'll give me some idea that there are people out there that are really enjoying learning the basics. Also, if you have any questions at all, I'm here for you, so don't hesitate to ask. I'd be happy to help you and answer any questions that I possibly can. And if I can't, I will get someone that does know the answer, and I'll get back with you. Thank you so much. I'll see you next week.